All right, so today we are jumping into a big one. We're tackling a classic that's over 200 years old, but somehow it still gets people talking, arguing, and, let's be honest, pretty confused. Why on earth is Pride and Prejudice considered such a masterpiece?
And this whole thing really kicked off with this amazing question on Reddit. Someone basically compared Jane Austen's most famous book to a reality TV show, saying it's all just rich women complaining about finding a husband. And you know what? On the surface, I can totally see where they're coming from. That is a totally fair question. Is this book just about bonnets and ballrooms and who's going to marry whom? Or is there something much, much deeper going on under the surface? Well, let's break it all down and see if we can figure this out together.
Okay, so first things first. To really get this book, you have to understand the world these characters lived in. For the women in this story, finding a husband wasn't just about romance, it was a high-stakes game of survival.
And you can see the difference right here. It's just night and day. Back in 1813, for women of a certain class, like our Bennet sisters, life was incredibly precarious. They couldn't own property. They had basically zero career options. Marriage wasn't a choice. It was their only shot at a secure future.
And for the Bennet sisters, this was their reality. Their house, their home, was entailed, which is a fancy way of saying that when their dad died, some random male cousin would get everything. The five of them would be kicked out with next to nothing. So Mrs. Bennet's obsession with getting her daughters married, it's not silly, it's sheer cold panic.
And this quote, man, it just nails the mindset of the era. This is about Elizabeth's smart, practical friend Charlotte Lucas. She marries the absolutely ridiculous Mr. Collins, not for love, but for security. The book calls it her pleasantest preservative from want. Think about that phrase. A loveless marriage was better than starving.
So, you've got this pressure cooker of a world, right? All this social maneuvering for survival. But here's the brilliant part. Instead of writing some depressing drama, Austen turns this world into a playground for her secret weapon, incredibly sharp, witty satire.
And Jane Austen is an absolute master of this. She uses humor and irony like a surgeon's scalpel to just pick apart all the absurdities of her society, the ridiculous class system, the insane rules for men and women. She's not just telling a story, she's holding up a mirror and saying, look at how silly all this is.
Okay, let's talk about Exhibit A, the one and only Mr. Collins. This guy is a clergyman, but more importantly, he is the perfect cartoon of a social climbing suck-up. He has zero self-awareness, and it is glorious.
I mean, his marriage proposal to Elizabeth? It's unbelievable. He literally gives her a business presentation. He lists his reasons, and not one of them is about love or, actually liking her. It's a hilarious and brutal takedown of a system that cared more about appearances than actual human feelings.
And then, oh boy, then you've got Lady Catherine de Bourgh. She is the ultimate arrogant aristocrat. Her sense of self-importance is so huge, it makes her the perfect punching bag for Austen's wit. This right here, this is her reaction when Elizabeth Bennet, someone from a lower social rung, dares to have an opinion. She is literally astonished. And through moments like this, Austen just perfectly roasts the unbelievable entitlement of the super rich and their crazy belief that they're just better than everyone else. But look, as brilliant as all that social commentary is, that's not even the whole story. The real genius of this book, it's the profound, personal journey that our heroine, Elizabeth Bennet, goes on. This isn't really a story about her finding a man. It's a story about her finding herself.
Yeah, there's a fancy literary term for this, a Bildungsroman. It's basically a coming-of-age story, and that's what a lot of scholars see this as. The romance is the engine of the plot, for sure, but the real destination is Elizabeth's personal growth. And here's the thing that's so easy to miss. The central conflict isn't really Elizabeth versus Darcy. It's the battle going on inside Elizabeth's own head. She starts the book so sure of herself, so confident in her ability to judge people. But the story forces her to realize that she's been blind, that her own prejudice has been her biggest enemy. And this, quote, this is the moment. This is the heart of the whole novel. It's not just about her changing her mind about a guy. It's this incredibly painful, powerful moment of self-realization where she understands, for the first time, who she really is, flaws and all.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question. Why are we still so obsessed with this book, more than 2 centuries later? Why do we keep making movies and shows about it?
I saw this on that same Reddit thread, and it is perfect. It's the original cookie recipe.
It's so true. The whole enemies to lovers thing, the witty banter, the two smart people who totally misunderstand each other at first, this book is the blueprint. It's the DNA for almost every romantic comedy you've ever seen.
And I mean, just look around. The proof is everywhere. From that legendary 1995 BBC series, you know the one, to the Keira Knightley movie, to modern twists like Bridget Jones's Diary, even a Bollywood version. The story is so perfectly built, it just works, no matter where or when you set it.
And that's why it sticks with us, right? It's not really about fancy dresses and old-timey England. It's about stuff we all deal with. We have all misjudged someone based on a first impression. We have all felt trapped by what society expects of us, and hopefully, we all know how important it is to admit when we're wrong.
So let's circle back to where we started. When you strip away the bonnets and the ballrooms, what are we left with? Why is this book a timeless masterpiece and not just the Real Housewives at the Regency?
Because in the end, the value isn't just the romance. It's a hilarious takedown of society, it's a deep story about growing up, and it's a reminder that sometimes the people who get under our skin the most are the ones who force us to take a hard look at ourselves. And maybe that's the real question the book leaves us with. It isn't just about whether she can land the rich guy, it's about whether she can get over herself. It's a 200-year-old story that's still reminding us that sometimes the hardest prejudices we have to overcome are our own.